What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are shining our spotlight on Raquel Rodriguez, a powerhouse that is nicknamed the Powerhouse, that I believe to be one of the stronger females. Now, is she Z-Liv quality? Not really, but if you don't have Zombie Liv and you have Raquel, she's a great backup. I personally use her mainly for requirement purposes, but there will come a time where I'll use her later on down the line, take her up to 6-star silver. I mean, she's full 6-star bronze. Might as well utilize that, right? So our first move set, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at the shoulder block. We're going to deal, well, with Snoop on. Let's look over here. Shoulder block, we're going to be doing 290 or 281,000 damage and choose a 6x2 area to make into multiplied gems of 7. That, combined with our scoop slam, which is going to deal 949,000 and make the bottom 3 rows into column break gems, generally leads out for a pretty good amount of damage. Consistency-wise, it doesn't always hit turn 1, so that's kind of an issue from time to time. However, the Tajana Bomb, her finisher, is going to deal 447,000 damage and choose 2 rows to destroy and pin the opponent. When these 3 go off in sync, it always recycles. There is not a time where I never see this recycle. Why? Because you can choose where the multiplied gems are going to go. So if you place 1 or 2, or place that on 1 or 2 reds, you're golden. If you have 1 red and then 3 red down at the bottom that you're going to blow up with a Tajana Bomb, you're golden. It still recycles. So the downside to all of this is come feud time, it's really hard to get all 3 moves to go off at once without losing some of your power. So essentially how we're going to do this, I looked at Grayson for a second. That was kind of a mess up on my end. What I normally go with is I go with Finn Balor, I go with Butch, I go with Snoop, and now I'm going to be adding Chelsea to the mix. Now, you don't necessarily have to go with Chelsea. You can go with another red move increase. You can go with Memrock if you have Memrock. You can go with Santa Hogan if you so choose, if Santa Hogan is high enough. Either way, it still goes off. The main reason why I like this build is how much damage is produced from the Scoop Slam and the Tajana Bomb. Right now, just looking at the moves themselves, with this not having the belt triggered at all, we're doing over 4 million damage. In a 6-star bronze world, that's almost half of the damage and move damages alone for a lot of the acro cards, for some of the striker cards, not really for the showboat cards, but either way, still does the work. For our belt, we're doing Fury on this one. Normally I do Fury too, but this is just kind of the belt or the medals that sit on Raquel right now until I take her far more seriously. Our medal is only at 133%. I believe I do have a percentage yet right there that can go up to 200, which I really need to work on for other cards. That'll be worked up later on. Plate-wise, I have not fully decided what is going to work on her plate-wise. Now, one thing you could do is the NWO plate, which is going to add 75% to your red moves after you break 6 or more red gems. So turn 2, not really necessary, because by the time you get to turn 2, you're already going to kill them off anyways. That doesn't really sit. There's a different way to run this that you can run. Instead of doing the multiply gems, you can do the follow-away slam, which I'll do that next. But this is what would be for this moveset right here. You're getting rid of the multiply gems. You're going with the follow-away slam. This is what will trigger the NWO plate faster. So that way you have it for turn 1. That does help. It will increase the damage. It's just, I am not 100% how many times you're going to recycle. That one is solely board dependent. If you don't have that many greens, you don't have that many reds, you're not looking at recycling fast enough. Another way to do it is that same moveset, but doing Santa Muscles, I believe is what it's called. Let's check real quick. Where is it? I know I have it. Right here. Oh, this is the Aftershock. You can do the green gems, make red. That's a good thing. And I do have Santa Muscles on Keith Lee. Break 3 red, get 3 green. That's still a possibility too for recycle. MP plates do the work, especially against submission-based cards. So let's attack Lita here. I don't expect this fight to go very long, but I also don't expect it to win turn 1. If it wins turn 1, fan-frickin-tastic. I'll consider that a win. So we already see our red gems up here. We want to avoid looking down here because this is going to get covered by the column breaks. So we'll just go across here, hit that. Our moves damage right now with the belt increase, we're doing 1 million damage there. We're doing 3.5 million damage there. We're doing 1.6 million damage there. You can do the math. We are destroying life totals with just the move damage alone. Right there, we already taken her down a quarter of the way. Go across there. Now, the gem damage is not going to be that great. I can't lie to you. 1.5, so we're doing 3 million damage total. That's 7 million damage off the gate. And this is the reason why I'm saying with this moveset, the NWO belt doesn't really work. Because now, it works. It's just, you're kind of beating a dead horse. You've already increased all of these. That'll be well over 4. Like, you're already dropping them down. So I guess against the 6-star silver, an NWO plate on this would do wonders. I retract my statement. We all make mistakes every once in a while. That just happens. Now, if you have an ultimate belt that you can throw on her, the Uncle Sam belt does very well with generating 10 more reds. You could also put on the Viper plate as well. When you break black, you get turn yellow into red. That works too to refill the board with red gems. That'll also ensure a nice little recycle. So another build or another setup, and I already showed this one or already talked about this one, is the fall away slam into the scoop slam into the Tajana bomb. Again, same rules apply with this one as well. You can go with NWO plate, you can go with the Uncle Sam plate, you can go with the Viper plate, you can go with Santa muscles, you can go with Aftershock. There's plenty of plates that do work with this. Now this is the other build that I believe is of value. Now this build, however, takes two MP cards or 2 MP trainers and Santa Hogan some days. But today we're not going to do that. Today we're going to go a completely different route. We're going to be going just straight up blue. Where is it? Come on. Right there. We're going to go straight up blue. We're going to go with gem modifiers. And we're going to go with gem. Oh, I already had it on here. Previous. We're going to go with Memrock. And we're going to go with King Sheamus. This is a little bit, I understand that not everyone has Memrock, so obviously you can switch this out for something else. But essentially, this is what we're doing. The big boot. We're going to deal 295,000 damage and force our opponent to skip their turn for 2 turns. Hardcore is a nice little add-on to this. If opponent's class is Acrobat, first deal 74,000 damage and increase your blue gem damage by 50%. Similar to Acro Bianca. Very, very good status, especially if you're going class advantage like I normally go with. This goes very well, so that way you can stop a zombie Becky and their tracks from doing a whole bunch of damage all at once, and it's just redonkulous. Our arm trap headbutt. We're going to choose 2 gems to make into 2-turn juggernauts, which is good because we're making them skip 2 turns, so we can just swipe, and watch the board explode. This will increase our red MP by 5 on every countdown turn and make 21 random gems into blue gems at the end of the countdown. Now, the reason I said at the beginning of this that you're going to need 2 MP cards is solely because the shoulder block is red. So if you could throw on a Butch with the Lawler, you're essentially having this go off turn 1 and then these go off turn 1. This is really a top row filler if you have that in feud. Outside of that, I don't see double MP being a good thing here because ultimately you're just wasting your own time. If you choose to go the double MP route, which again, that is your prerogative if you choose to go that route, I highly recommend switching off damage trainers here and going for MP reduction. That way, when you go and hit your arm trap, because that's going to be the first one that goes off, you're going to hit that. The MP reduction is going to be there, so the opponent has to swipe. That gives you a chance to swipe and use the big boot, and then going into the shoulder block as well. But this is the setup I use for tours. So let's go in against Showboat Lita again, see what sort of damage we can produce here. I personally think that Raquel is a very good card. She just has a couple of pitfalls in regards to damage. That's just my opinion. I think she could be a lot better if if it was with the right setups. So, unfortunately for Miss Raquel here, and the time that I got Raquel, I also got Piper. I have Piper's plate, and I also got Zombie Liv. So, yeah, that kind of killed it for our lady friend here. So we'll just swipe across here, make sure that's ready to go. And then those are going to pop, filling up a giant chunk of the board, or filling up the entire board. We're doing 4 million damage roughly. And here's where things get spicy. She's going to swipe there, which is fine. And here's where things are going to turn for the worst for Miss Lita. We're going to skip the turn. Obviously, against an Acro, that was going to do a lot more damage. But since it's not against an Acro, we didn't do that much damage. However, this is where we're going to shine. We're going to lay these down here. Swipe. Let that do its thing. That's going to trigger filling in the multiplies. We're going to skip out. We're going to opt out on using the jug. We need to make sure this is used in a place where we're not going to cascade, because if we cascade, it's going to turn into a problem, which I have a feeling we're going to cascade right here. Oh, we didn't. Fantastic. Now let's see the damage fly. Our board is half full of multiplies, and we just filled it up with blues. 6.6 mil. Really not bad. Not bad in the slightest. I applaud this. Now, what you can do is, instead of using Matt Hardy, what you can do is you can put Trick Dominic on here for +2 blue MP and then 40% blue gem increase. Basically, you're going to want to double MP one way or another towards blue for this one for the boss battles, or for the feuds. Sorry, not boss battle, for the feud. So ultimately, I have tried out, I'm not going to show it because I've already tried it out. The bear hug into the Canadian backbreaker does piss poor damage. You won't lose very often because basically you're doing the fall away slam, the bear hug, and the Canadian backbreaker. You increase your gem damage or your move damage here with a 200% metal, and you lay down your submission, you hit the Canadian backbreaker, you blow up the board, you redo it again. This is one where Santa Muscles kicks into place. I believe it's Santa Muscles. I just want to double check. I don't want to give you guys the wrong information. Yeah, it is Santa Muscles. This is the one where Santa Muscles comes into play. You put Santa Muscles on there, and you run that setup. You won't lose, but you will be there for a hot second. So basically, this is buyer beware. If you want to go a certain route, go a certain route. If you don't want to, then don't. But really, ultimately, I had her set up with Takedown before, Takedown 2, and increasing that drastically, and it did really well damage-wise. But you need the gem damage to kick out. It's just the reality of the beast. So if you guys have Raquel and you plan on running her, Fury 2, Fury 2, go down that route. Don't worry about the takedown route. Let the red metal damage do the work for you there. All right. So with all that being said, Raquel and I, as she flexes on us, we're going to do the same thing we always do when we leave you. Your life can be fun if you allow it to be. I screwed up that ending. We'll talk to you later.